Greetings, salutations, all gone people. OmariJ here, and thank you for joining me for the Route 66 podcast short. The Route 66 podcast is a daily podcast that will not last longer than 10-15 minutes. Why? Because I ain't got that long of a what is the thing? Attention span. My attention span is so short that I could not even remember attention span. Anyway, yeah, it's not going to be any longer than 10-15 minutes because why? My attention span is minuscule. If it is that you've been following the Route 66 series on Instagram or YouTube, you would have known that my attention span is short. Why? Because I did probably about 4 episodes of Route 66 before turning it into a podcast, and I got bored. I was inconsistent. I didn't post regularly. Yeah, man, yo. Anyway, let's move on. So, so if it is that you're new here to the Route 66 series, well, it is a podcast as no, so you are new here. This is just the second episode. So, what is this podcast about? I must stop rambling and tell you. This podcast short is about looking at life through the lens of the crucified Christ. Whose life specifically? Well, I am here and I'm quite versed in my own life and my own life experiences. So I'm going to talk about my own life and my own life's experiences. That sound like it is like a, you know, like I didn't need to say my life and my life experiences. Like I don't. Anyway, off topic. So yes, let me continue to introduce Route 66. So Route 66, as I said, is a daily podcast, no longer than 10-15 minutes. It could be 2 minutes, it could be three. It is a podcast where I'll be looking at my life, your life, our lives, and the lives of those around us as Christians through the lens of the crucified Christ. Zine. Yeah, let's just jump straight into the topic for this episode. So, continuing the last episode, if you haven't listened or watched the previous episode, I suggest that you do, where I go into just give a brief premise. I don't even want to say an introduction. Preface is what it is as to the topic, which is, if you've actually read the title, is rebuilding my relationship with Christ, with God. I I had just to give a brief summary of what I was speaking about in the last episode. I was just saying how my desire for Christ never wavered, but I lacked the discipline and the motivation to foster that relationship, you know. And I'm not sure if there's anybody else out there with that similar struggle, but if it is that you do, know that you are not alone. Know that I too, and probably others, have this particular struggle, you know. I yeah, as I was continuing in the previous episode, I I think one of the major things outside of, the enemy, plotting to prevent me from fostering that relationship with Christ. I too have a fear of becoming something greater than what I am right now. I am quite comfortable with where I'm at, where I know about Jesus, and Jesus will take care of me, and me know look at Bible, me knowledgeable, I'm probably not the typical Christian spiritual person where, who cry in a church and they sing Spirit leads me very much. and all them. I I I am very, I don't want to say emotionless when it comes down to my spirituality, but that's what it feels like sometimes. Um, but I'm very to the point. I'm very fact based, scripture based, and if it is that it swerves outside of that, I struggle with, you know, accepting that reality. Well, not really accepting that reality, but more like I struggle with making that part of Christianity like mine, where I'm all about prophecies and prophecies and you know, emotions and being, you know, drawn to tears every single time I talk about Jesus. Nah. Sometimes we'll shed a one bad man tear, but no. But back to what I was saying. I was saying that in the last episode that I have this fear of being greater than what I am right now, and there is one quote that's probably resonated with me. The only quote that has probably resonated with me in my entire life. And last episode, I could not find it. If it is that you're seeing, if it is that you're watching, yeah, last episode I could not find it. So I had paraphrased a little bit, but this episode I found it. So I'm gonna read it for you guys. Here we go. So this quote is a quote from Marianne Williamson. It is a famous quote, which was said by Nelson Mandela um, when he was alive and when he was kicking and something. You see me? Yeah. So the quote goes: "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your plain small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. No, I love that quote, Zine, because it encapsulates everything that I fear. It encapsulates everything that that I think about. I'm like, nah, I don't want to have that kind of responsibility. I don't want to have that kind of pressure to 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 encourage people to, you know, help others shine based on my life. Like if I can be in the background, like you know, like our stage manager in the wings, and I run the show from behind the scenes. Yeah, man. If we can do that, then yeah, man, me nah have no problem. But to be in the spotlight, to be on camera, to be here in front of this mic, in front of you guys, in your ears, it scares me a bit. It really does, and it's like specifically when it comes to Christ, when it comes to sharing His gospel. Well, not really sharing His gospel, but when it comes to building my life, building my spirituality, building my faith in Jesus, I get terrified. I don't want to build my faith because I know that when I build my faith, when it is that, you know, on this journey, that I become more versed in scripture, when I become more prayerful, when it is that Lord, give me a word. I need a word. When the Lord make my faith much bigger than what I can currently handle, I I get scared just at the thought of that. You see me? And it's something that I have to learn to bring to Christ. It is a fear that I have to learn to be able to bring to Christ, and I can't bring it to Christ if I don't come to Him, if I don't have a relationship with Him. You see me? So that's what we're doing now. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm learning to rebuild my relationship in Christ. You see me? So earlier to last week. Well, by the time you guys see or hear this, it wouldn't have been last week. But anyway, so last week I was having a conversation with my friend and pastor Joel Bain. JB, big up yourself. I was having a conversation with him, and I realized that I didn't realize. He pointed out to me, based on a situation that had happened. I'll share that with you guys as we go along this topic. He was pointing out to me that regardless of the scenario, the bigger issue and the thing that I need to focus on first is my relationship with Christ. And I'm like I know, like me know, but it's like me never know. You know them way there? Yeah. um, my relationship with he pointed out that my relationship with Christ needs to be be my primary focus essentially, where I take my sin to Jesus, to Him, And I was explaining to Joel that. Oh, by the way, Joel, I'm sorry that I didn't ask for your permission to um say your name on this, but I really and truly don't care because you're my pastor. And as my pastor, you have the moral responsibility to shepherd your flock. I am your flock. I'm a part of your flock. So, yeah, flock, we talk about you. Big up yourself. Anyway, um, yeah. So based on the sin, it I would have sinned against myself. I would have sinned against God. More importantly, um, I was so focused on not. I was so focused on ensuring that there was peace in the scenario. There was, you know, a lot of help, a lot of communication in my community because it was an issue that that came up. It was when I committed that particular sin, and I then brought it to my community. It 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 would have changed the dynamic of the relationship. No, no, nah, it didn't. But it made my community worry for me in a way that I haven't seen them worry for me in a very long time, right? And I was just like, yeah, I know, I get your pain, but let us focus on what happened, but let's not really focus on my sin, because me focusing on my sin means that I would have to actually go to God. Me focusing on my sin means that I would actually have to like think about me and not everybody else. And if it is that you know me well, I don't really like to, you know, put myself out there. Just like how I said earlier, if I could be backstage, if I could be backstage and work from behind the scenes, I'm good. But doing that ahead, like doing the work up on me means that it puts me at the forefront. And Joel was pointing out that even if you were saying to yourself, no, I don't want to talk about me, let's focus on everybody else. I'm still putting a large focus on myself. Like you see me? And I was like, yo, General. So he had referred he had said to me, yo, it what are you waiting on? That's basically it. Like way away on. Just go to God. Build that relationship. Just go to him. Just go up and I was trying to explain to him, but Joel, pre this. I don't want to go to Jesus because I want to go to Jesus and be genuine about it, right? I don't really like feelings, but I want to be genuine about my sin and be genuine about, you know, being sorrowful for my sin. I didn't want to go to Jesus, go to Christ, and be like, yo, Jesus, I sinned. Forgive me, please. And then just I ate that. Like I didn't want to do that. I was terrified because it it to me that would mean that I am not sincere. To me it would mean that my heart's not in the right place. And I always want to have that like mind heart connect, which I'm missing. Um but Joel was like, don't worry about that. Like, don't worry about that. Just go to him. Do you do you know that you sinned? I was like, yeah. Can you admit that you sinned? Yeah, I can. I do. I do admit that I sinned. Um, but I want to be genuine about it. But that is genuine. Like y- you're genuinely admitting that you sinned. Go to Jesus about it. Talk to him. Admit it to him. Let him forgive you. He will then help you with the heart connect that you've been looking for. And that made me kind of tense because I'm like, why you feel like you read up my card so, and I was welling up inside with tears on just like mm, yeah my tears were just like right there, ready to come out, but I was like, no, mm-mm, man, no bad. You see me? People, leave me alone. Don't come say about how must express emotion rated. I know, but in this moment, we never talk about it. You see me? Um. So yeah, in that moment, I was just like, all right, cool. He prayed for me. He never forced me, but he was like, all right, you're going to pray for yourself too. And he waited there for about 2-3 minutes straight in silence, with his head bowed and eyes closed, waiting on me to pray. I was like, all right, cool. Let me just say a two, 3 word and, ease out. And we did that. I went home and he gave me some scriptures to mull over, essentially, to help me to go to God, and I'm gonna share those with you. Yeah, so the scriptures that he gave me, I'll give you one of them now, and for your homework, you're gonna go and read it. I'm not gonna read it here. Nah, you're gonna do that. I've read it already. I'm probably gonna read it again after this. But one of the 3 scriptures that he gave me was James 4:7-10. So y'all can go mull over that. Y'all can go read that, take that in for yourself. Let me know in the comments what were your interpretations, what it is that you got from that particular scripture, and we can have a conversation about it. You see me? Next episode, I'm gonna be talking about that particular scripture and what I gained from that. Yeah. So, I eat that. We out there. Still working on an outro. If y'all have any ideas, hit me up. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me for another episode of the Route 66 podcast short, where we look at our lives through the lens, our lives as Christians, through the lens of the crucified Christ. Yeah? So, we out. Bless. It's been a while since I seen myself smile for real. Had regrets in my past, only time could kill. I wish that I could heal all the pain I felt, and so I use my life as weaponry and aim myself.